Good morning, this is Monty Westfall, and this is my presentation for EDL 856, Module 16. When looking at any problem, we first must start with identifying and analyzing the problem. So first off, what do I know? Well, according to the case study, it is my first year in this position. My school has very limited contact and involvement with the parents within the school community. The principal above me appears to show little concern about this being an issue. The principal and I agreed to hold a parent meeting to find out which parents would be more interested in getting involved. And finally, the evening of the meeting, only 8 parents attended. Then what do I need to know? Well, there have been parent groups in the past. How well did they function? What were their functions? And what was the participation rate like for them? Also, although it would be tricky, I would need to find out from the principal exactly how much direct contact he actually has with the community. Are the phone calls and comments as frequent and in-depth as he thinks? Why didn't more parents show up for this Monday meeting? And finally, what would I need to do to ensure that more parents would be motivated to attend future meetings? Therefore, what's the problem? Parents in my school community are not motivated to be involved with the school. The problem is finding out why they lack motivation and what it is that I, as assistant principal, can do to change it. So let's look at a plan of action. First, we would go ahead and proceed with the meeting for the parents who did show up at the initial Monday meeting. To do so would send a bad message not only to these parents, but likely spread throughout the community that administration is not willing to talk to parents. So from these parents, we could glean as much information as possible. We could ask about their reasons for attending, get their ideas for encouraging others to attend, and get a sense of what is happening in the community. We would follow this meeting with a survey sent via multiple communication channels to parents. That could be email, snail mail. The survey could be available at the school, surrounding this topic, as well as what the motivating factors are for a lack of participation in the school community. We could even search for days via this survey of the week that are more convenient for parents coming in for conversations than others. This would immediately be followed up by a meeting with focus groups of student leaders, potential student leaders, and students who may not feel like they are actually connected to the school. We could survey their thoughts on surrounding parental involvement in the school community. We could gather their ideas on how to encourage parents to become more involved. And finally, we could ask these groups what it would take for their own parents to be involved in our school community. Next, we could go to our veteran staff members who know the history of the parent groups that we have been told existed in the past. Were they successful? What made them successful or unsuccessful? What was the size of these groups? And why did they go away? Following parent survey results, we would schedule a series of follow-up meetings designed to address some of the motivational blocks that existed prior to the survey. We would provide parents plenty of advance notice for the meetings. We would also invite students from our student focus groups to speak to the parents about the importance of their involvement. We would provide morning, afternoon, and evening meeting times for parents to accommodate as many schedules as possible. We would also provide food for parents, and we would set up the meeting in a more comfortable familial environment than an auditorium. A place that feels warm and inviting really encourages people to share. Following that, we would take a step back and take a breath. We would work with the key students and parents who showed genuine interest in moving forward to create a parent group that will make the most sense in this environment. That could be an advisory group, a PTA, a PTO, or any other type of organization that our community sees as a benefit to the school. Keeping students involved will assist in this process. So let's take a look at resolving this issue based on promoting the success of all students. So what is best for students? Parental involvement in the community is really what's best for students, as we educators are not able to do this job alone. That being said, involving students was a big part of the resolution to the problem in this case. An administrator just talking with parents in a generally apathetic community will not be enough to spur involvement. So what specific data from this case points to this? Well, the following pieces will help in coming up with a resolution that is in the best interest of all students. First, we know that the principal has felt that he has been in direct contact with the community yet parental apathy remains. The steps and strategies previously outlined seek to not only learn more information about this angle of the problem, but also to take steps to rectify the situation. Furthermore, this solution will be in the best interest of all students as we seek to understand the history of past parent groups that were mentioned in the case. By understanding their previous existence, we can seek to replicate what did work in these groups and also try to avoid the pitfalls that they encountered by not repeating them. Finally, this resolution is also in the best interest of students as we learned that the previous meeting was announced with only a weekend's notice. In the proposed solution, parents are not only given plenty of advance notice, but they have also been primed via survey and have other motivating factors to attend, such as flexible scheduling, food, and a comfortable environment in which to share. Next, I'm going to debrief this problem, looking at the values, thinking, and feeling that I went through when examining the situation. First and foremost, I always look to the success and well-being of my students. In initially analyzing this issue, I was hyper-focused on what I could do as an administrator to fix the issue. Then the solution hit me like a ton of bricks. The X factor here is involving students in the process. I definitely value their input and see them as a potential game changer to bring in our parental group to becoming more active in the school community. Secondly, I also rely on history when making decisions. That was my thinking behind investigating with our veteran staff the past parent groups that have existed at the school. Finally, my feelings told me that a last-minute meeting called in an auditorium was not an impactful, respectful, or effective way in which to garner parental involvement. I felt that the meetings that included students, offered food, and occurred at flexible time periods throughout the day were of most benefit to this process. So what is still unresolved? What do we still need to investigate further? Well, any plan of action can look great on paper. However, we must always know that these plans can change in a moment's notice out of necessity. It is akin to building the plane while it's still in the air. The first issue I see as being unresolved is what will occur when we speak to the 8 parents who showed up on the night of the first meeting. They may come in as willing participants, or they may come in a hostile, disenfranchised group of individuals with an agenda of their own. That very outcome could change our course of action immediately. I will also need to further investigate which students to get involved in this process. Selecting the students that we feel have had a past history of strong leadership, high levels of involvement, and who are able to motivate a group of people will be key, as well as including those individuals who do not feel connected to our school, so that we can further investigate the why of that and use that as part of the resolution of this overall problem. Third, and it is definitely both unresolved and open for further investigation, is the role that the staff will play in this plan of action. Will they be willing participants? Will they help attend meetings and get the word out in the community? As the plan of action unfolds, they will remain key players in ensuring the success of this initiative. Now I'm going to take some time and reflect on Standard 4 with regard to the academic success of all students, the students' well-being, and promoting communities of engagement. First, we'll look at Component 1. How did I promote the academic success of every student while addressing the issues in parental apathy? Well, we all know academic success does not occur in isolation. In categories 2 and 3, I clearly outline a plan to involve a wide variety of students throughout this process. I believe that the more students are involved in the issues surrounding the school community, the more they are invested in their own education, and thus their academic success within that school becomes much more likely. Similarly, I outline a plan to involve staff at looking into the parent groups that have existed in this school in the past. Through this investigation, we can look to see what data trends may exist in student achievement while these parent groups were functioning. Citing this possible positive student achievement correlation to increase involvement in parental groups can be a great talking point for both students, teachers, and administrators alike when speaking with parents. Now, thinking about Component 2, how did I promote the personal well-being of every student while addressing the issues revealed in parental apathy? The very process detailed in the plan of action is meant to promote parental involvement in the school community, which by its very nature promotes the well-being of our students. Specifically, I can point to the multifaceted approach that was taken to try to involve as many individuals as possible. First, we went ahead with the initial meeting despite the small turnout. To not do so would have sent a very negative message to those who did attend, and that would likely spread throughout the community. That would not be holding our students' well-being in high regard. Secondly, we will be using data from the various conversations had with parents, students, and staff, as well as data gleaned from the surveys that were sent out in multiple media formats to help guide our plan to increase parental involvement and enrich our school community, thereby helping to further ensure our students' well-being. And as to component number 3, how did I promote the communities of engagement for families and other stakeholders while addressing the issues revealed in parental apathy? This was approached in a variety of ways. First, we wanted as much parent feedback as possible. Therefore, we sent the parent survey out via standard mail, email, and copies were available at the school should parents be in the building. This seeks to meet the parents at their level. Those who are not comfortable with electronic communication had the opportunity to participate via email, and likewise, those who feel burdened by a paper and pencil survey have the luxury of jumping online and quickly communicating their thoughts electronically. Secondly, the opportunity for community engagement was enhanced by the structure of the follow-up meetings. Meetings were scheduled throughout the day for their convenience. Food was provided so that this was a need that they did not have to worry about. Finally, the physical environment was designed to be engaging so that parents felt at ease when coming into a fairly new situation. So there you have it. With the steps, rationales, and reflections listed previously, it is my hope that this school will go on to become a more engaging, socially involved environment that leads to many great student successes in the future. And I do appreciate your time today. Thank you.